where you drive, it's bus drivers. Frank drives only in need, he's not a regular driver.
Maybe
So
they
you
do
could
mechanics.
The other thing, just random, you asked, there's 18 school districts in St. Lawrence County, there's 18 superintendents. There's no shared in St. Lawrence County superintendents.
Not yet,
And nobody's having conversations about that.
Not yet.
Other than maybe Canton Township.
Can't cost them if they merge, but even
that's right.
that's
Must be the
in the
first.
study, it's a merger.
Be the groundbreakers.
Years ago, we're talking 3 years, we're all not here.
Something like that.
I have a question on teaching regular school in your budget. I see that
Where are you?
teaching regular
Okay, let us
school,
get there. Okay.
page 5, in this last page. Teaching regular school, go down to dean of students.
Yes, that's to break
There you
out,
go.
that's Amy. That's it.
Pardon?
That's Amy. She's, her salary split and she goes.
Okay, the last budget, that wasn't in there at all.
Nope,
Um,
check it out.
no, I had that in the teacher's code by accident.
You had it in some of the code.
Yes, by
Yes.
accident.
So
It
that was
didn't
where it
change.
belongs.
It's where it used to be, and actually she had taken it out of there, and I said, we've always had dean of students for a certain percentage.
Could show where they cut
So it's like, but if you look under the principles, it will show a different
Because the
amount as well.
administration budget was too high, so we had to.
Now,
and that's what they-
BOCES,
Then they gave her diapers, you need to.
down farther, A2110.49. I see that went down again?
That was some of the cuts we had discussed.
You told me last time that BOCES was all tweaked, there's no more cuts now.
That was the people services, 10,000.
10,000 out of people service.
Distance learning,
Okay, gotcha.
distance learning was 25.
Yeah.
Math coach, so.
A webinar.
So at BOCES
That's
services,
about 47.
pupil services went down 10,000, so that's part of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, we also have not finalized our proposed commitment on that. So these are, again, proposed numbers.
So did they change the price on it? So like you said, we were going to select a certain price. Is that what we're going to fight out what goes into the charge?
We've already gone through a commitment form and has a general cost. But if
It might
you could
change
change
slightly.
one up or down.
Yeah,
Goes is going to tweak it.
well, like NARIC, we don't have the final cost for NARIC, for our computer, software and stuff like that, so those were estimates.
They don't.
How many school districts in section
Looking at that.
converse their transportation with goods?
With what? Oh, with buildings. I can tell you that next meeting. I go over that, yeah.
They don't have to.
Yeah,
She
like-
do it for a lot of us.
they eliminate her discipline problem.
Merge transportation and buildings and grounds, yes.
Her discipline issues.
They don't now. But they have a lower level person in that position.
On your special program handicap, it's right under teaching regular schools, page 50.15. Special ed's salaries is on 52,355. Do we hire someone or why is that?
Okay, that's not the right budget.
Is that
We did have an interpreter that went down, but we moved a teacher's salary over to, that would move a teacher's salary over to title, because right now we have an interpreter.
It's up 39,000 now.
is that just because of benefits? What was the increase?
No, we get a certain amount of funding through grants. So by taking the 12,000 out of the grant, we could put part of the teacher's salary into the grant, provided we get the same amount of money in our grants. So that shifted some of that cost.
So the
But yes, the
this
increase
came right off
was,
the computer, so apparently the computer hasn't been updated.
sorry, what?
I don't know which one you're looking at, Rich.
It's a budget, I got off the computer, it must be outdated.
You have the old one. Did you look at the newest one that's up here on the computer? It says 3, 3/19/2014.
Okay.
319.
That's on there, so I can
Can
get
you
it.
shift that stuff, I mean, that, whenever you Joe the state by shifting, how you put the money in there, or shifting teachers or anything like
To
that?
title in and out?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's up to us how we use it.
Oh, okay.
You can use it for all teachers, you can use it for benefits, you can use it, for those things, you can use it for all materials and supplies, you can use it for materials within title class, so you can choose, we choose a good portion of it to be teacher salaries, or TAs in those lines,
Okay. Just, information.
and sometimes secretarial.
I'll ask. Now, can we get some kind of a proposal so that we could do away with the elementary principal? Something?
Maybe proposal.
I don't know. Is there any way that we could do away with the elementary principal now? Instead of hiring?
Don't have one
Is
right
there
now.
anything we can do?
I don't.
Can you shift the job around? To who you,
You don't have,
to her, to whoever works in the district?
Can we ask the intern what she does right now?
Absolutely.
Could you tell us what you do?
I would say I'm doing everything that the elementary principal, with the exception of APPR, evaluating teachers, handling anything that's contractual in that way, with Sue and Amy's support and guidance. I think it's very reasonable to say that at this point, and even though I am learning and I'm training, that it is, even without the APPR, it's a good 50 hours a week. If you were to throw on evaluations, 65 to 70 hours a week. I come in at 7:30 in the morning, and often I'm here until 5 o'clock at night, even on Sundays. It is very intensive, lots of behavior, and not that it's tons of children that are problems or trouble. It takes time. Like Amy said, it's tracking them down, it's bringing them in, stopping them. Sometimes it's just like investigative work. And really that's important that we do that so that we can address all those situations that we can to be proactive. I have been a member of, we've picked up strategy review again, absolutely something we need to do. As many children as we have that we're putting into services. There's also, anything and everything that the elementary principal has done in the past, I could do. It's planning team, it's grade level meetings, we're working on report cards at this point. So it's pretty intense. I love it, I must say that. And I think that somebody would have to love it to do it. But I really cannot see one person taking the job of two. If you're already thinking that it's a 65-hour-a-week job, I don't think there's any, we cannot buy time. And that's the one thing that I think, in order for one person to try to do, we need to buy time.
At what point do you think the school district cannot do this?
I think we have too many students to run with one principal, and that's my own personal opinion. I think looking at this too, the way we're talking about the way our school is, what we're looking at as far as numbers of students per grade level, and I'll look at this from a teacher perspective for just a moment. As soon as we start putting 30 children in a classroom, and if we're down to one principal, I think that we are now losing touch with children, that we're opening ourselves up for more problems in the school. We're losing touch with our community, all the stakeholders in our, that have interests that are building. As a parent, I worry about that. I think that that's an awful lot to expect from one person to manage that many students and the community. And I think at this point, we're pretty fortunate here that we have a superintendent that actually does evaluations. I don't think that's the case in all districts, so that has actually been some of the burden of evaluations and APPR and all that being managed by Sue. So unless she were able to pick up more, which I don't think that's fair to even say in her position, it puts an awful demand I don't know what our staff numbers are right now, but 57 teachers, I think we were talking about the other day. And if you start putting in 2 evaluations minimum per staff member, TAs, and everybody else who gets an evaluation, I think it's a complex.
So you're saying it's not feasible?
It's my own personal opinion, just from what I know.
Your opinion is what we want.
From what I've been doing, I very rarely get lunch.
Well, you don't mind me asking the
No,
question?
I do not.
Or would you
Absolutely
have said
not.
that
And
as a
thank you.
teacher?
Nope.
I think it's hard to see it from the other side, but I will say this,
Some of the
I've never
teachers.
been afraid to put in time
I have.
as a teacher. So for me, that was already a given, and, but to look at it, yeah, no, I don't think I think it's hard to see what goes on the other side of things.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
I don't know if I
No,
have
I
to
know, I realize that, and I appreciate you asking me. I was hoping I'd get the opportunity to share, but it's, you know, and it's, I think you also have to look at it too from the staff's perspective.
Please do.
You know, if there's only one person that's available to you, and there are 600 students in the building, you're never going to be able to get a hold of your principal. And it is going to become, it's going to become a mess. It also requires that other principal to now take on a whole new section of the building, a section that they have not, possibly not managed at that point. It's curriculum, it's a whole separate planning team, for instance, and the only reason planning team's going in our minds because we just resuscitated that. But it's all those things that really you can't pull together as one big unit. I can't, for instance, foresee a faculty member from first grade wanting to sit and listen to what's happening in the 12th grade and all planning, like right now we're planning character education. How are we going to address that in the last month of school? It's something that we need to get going again, we need to work on that for next year. But do high school teachers want to be part of that? So you still have to have this group meeting, that group meeting, and it just, I think it puts a lot of demands on one person.
The question, the experience is what, you know, and that perspective is what we need. But is there any measurement of per student or per teacher? And I asked this about, you know, for example, when you look at some of the data around neighboring districts, and we talk about Herman Cal, have roughly 300 students, and 30-some, 40 teachers or something like that. They have a principal and a superintendent. We get it, and it was not, which is basically double the size. And we have, you know, 2 principals and an administrator, 57 teachers, and a dozen TAs, et cetera, et cetera. Is there, you know, a realistic cutoff point that, you know, about 400 students, for example, that you're really bridging that gap and needing that additional principal? Is there any metric or standard that, you know?
I think the problem is it's managed in many different ways. You add those other pieces like CSE, the AD,
Curriculum coordinator.
Because last year, even I wish that St. Lawrence County had for every district, you know, a bit of a spreadsheet to kind of identify the layout within their staff of how many teachers, how many TAs, just so that we could, again, it would be nice to see what a district our size, similarly, you know, in comparison to see how many TAs are they operating, what's their, you know, percentages of economic disadvantage, and how do you measure up with that?
There must be a database somewhere that lists the districts in New York State and the number of students. And the ones that have somewhere not.
All the
You
principals.
need a report card, you can get the back of the data, but it doesn't really tell you the
Doesn't dig into the
position, it doesn't tell you and how the layout is configured, so.
So all the principal's positions or responsibilities, but it's pretty much the same. Are they, as if they took you to put you in Canton or put you in Star Lake, would that be the same responsibilities you have
Generally,
here?
the only addition would again be the, like, move up to Harrisville, where at Harrisville, the high school principal is the athletic director, the elementary principal is the CSE person.
Our
You know,
principal
that there's
just
just
to be
last,
unique.
so they've been able to.
Minor changes.
Right, other than those little, you know, nuances, I generally, yeah, you're gonna be doing the same thing probably everywhere. You're managing the high school pieces that come along with all your curriculums and all those types of things. So I don't think there's probably a large difference.
The way I see it is either you haven't been doing anything and you got 30 extra hours a week that you could stick all these other responsibilities into, or you're unrealistic if you're thinking that you can get the same amount of work done with 2 people that you got done with 3 people. And that's not just here, that's anywhere. You know.
Well, I think your question is gonna be answered anyways in 4 or 5 years. Because, I mean, we're just not gonna be
You're not
able
gonna
to
need any of them.
You know, somehow we're gonna have to cut administration as well as we're cutting teachers, and that's, we better start looking down, because it's gonna be down the road.
You can get to a point of diminishing returns where you, no matter what you cut, you're not gonna go cut enough, so it's just,
Yeah.
you know, something.
It gets to a point where
And right now, it's
why
not
not
the
just
perfect
close the door
time.
because you're not accomplishing it.
You're not
When teachers
cutting
show up to
anybody.
teach,
There's
they
no
can't
one
do it, they don't have the operations.
Maybe we take Tom's suggestion a step further. I think what Tom was saying is that we take a look at, can you possibly run the school without?
She's not doing it because that job.
Yes, that's what I'm
Maybe
saying.
we take that a step further and we can look at.
But I think we just,
I think we just
I
answered
think we
that.
just heard that.
Well, that's why I said, let's take it a step further. Let's take it a step further. And maybe we can set something up where one of the principals could be the transportation supervisor. Maybe one of the principals could be the superintendent of grounds. I mean, maybe there's a whole gamut of things going on.
Good luck, ladies, with that one, I'm not just
Just using that for
superintendent.
example, I think you get.
No, but those are the tough things, those are jobs that not anybody can just do superintendents. You have
Maybe-
to, civil
maybe our-
service,
Superintendent of grounds could be the bus transportation.
yes, like those connections,
all.
yes.
You know, we're just throwing stuff around here, trying to save, you know.
Half-time maintenance.
In our last meeting, we talked about sharing some services with the principal.
We're looking for savings here, instead of getting rid of the principal, what if we did better sports? It's about the same,
The
about the same
principal's
dollar.
already gone.
It is, I mean, and I guess you gotta,
That's not going to hinder education, right, per se?
no, I mean, the mission is to educate, we can make an argument
Or
that
we can get
sports
rid
is
of
part of the
a
education
gym
process.
teacher.
But I think listening to what Laura said, and what Amy and Sue told us,
You can use
that
them
their
all.
presence here does benefit the students.
I haven't gotten
For
to
the
speak
students.
yet. And I liked you because I want to point this out, because some of you may know this or not. When I came to become the elementary principal here, I was the 5th principal in 7 years. So there was no consistency. I then stayed in principal for 5 years, which I think we started to get some real strong consistency going. And then when I turned over to become a superintendent, since then, we've had a principal that left mid-year, that we then had to put in someone, which then I had to train the new principal and their interim, and since Amy Lambie and now Laura. So for 4 of the 5 years, we have not had a consistent principal, which takes a lot of extra energy, time, effort for me, because I have to be involved in curriculum. And I am fully involved in the APPR. I am also still involved with discipline, and I have, like I said, for all of those years, because we've never had a consistent person. In the elementary, we had Jeff the first year, then we went to Michelle, and then Michelle stayed, and then she left, and then we had Amy. So again, within the principals, there's been a real lack of consistency during, my superintendency. We've had 3 business managers in 4 years. We have not had one consistent congruent group
I wonder why.
to be able to say, what can we cut? Because we're constantly retraining, reshifting, and I think we need to, I'm not disagreeing that there's things that can't be eventually merged, but to try to say what that is at this moment is very difficult because of the number of people in and out of the positions.
We haven't been at a steady state long enough to really
We haven't,
take a
ever.
fair look assessment of
I mean, that makes it really difficult.
it.
And it does for the faculty as well.
And if there's an expectation that the administrators pick up, additional roles, it would be nice to have an opportunity to implement those changes over an amount of time, rather than just say, well, next year you're going to be, director of transportation. So if we know that's the direction we want to move in, let's pursue it and find out so that at least the opportunity presents itself to get trained.
I think that's what Chris was talking about,
Yeah.
because we don't have a lot of time to,
No, but
Yes,
we have some,
you're right,
so,
year or two.
right.
That's fine.
Well, but,
Rather than 2 weeks.
that's right, yeah,
I
right.
don't want to, I sincerely don't want to see these cuts, but these numbers are telling us. The
with our own
Right,
advocates.
well, none of us like any of the cuts. I mean, it's not just the administration, it's all of it.
I
across
didn't
the
buy
board.
that anyway.
No, but that's what, you know, and that's
This
where we
isn't
do
fun.
need to look at those things.
That's why, when I called you, I didn't ask you that question. That, I mean, that, to me, is, we gotta find out what that's gonna cost the district.
We
And
gotta look at it.
that's why when Sue asked me to sign that, I'd rather find out what that's gonna cost before I sign it.
And I appreciate your openness in discussing this with us, because I know that you're talking about your jobs, or a job, potentially, and that's not a comfortable discussion.
Or our sanity.
Or
Something like that.
Well, I have to speak for the three of us, and all of us are here early in the morning, we're also here, most of us till after 5, and on weekends, sick as this is, we're chatting with each other, emailing, or using real chat now, live, for a couple of hours to resolve issues and problems before we begin Monday mornings.
Well, I can
So
certainly,
it's just like teachers are doing, I'm not just trying to say that we're the only ones doing
I
this.
can certainly validate, I think I work 2 months, and I meet you going into my house every day, so I know you're working.
It's, I mean, Laura stepped right up and is doing the same, and she did the same as a teacher, I'm not saying she didn't. She was often here at 5, 6 o'clock, and all summer, as a teacher, and she has jumped into that, and I do think we were lacking that for a while, within the principal position,
Yeah.
and we were hurt by it.
So I think we should keep this on our radar.
Yeah, that needs to be,
Thanks, Laura.
yes.
You're very welcome, thank you for asking.
Appreciate it. Could you possibly, like you say, Chattaday is close to us. Is there other districts around there that are close? And
I'll get us the whole spread, Rich.
yeah, I'd just like to see the ones that are close to us. I'm not concerned about the small schools or the real big schools.
But sometimes, like you're saying, they have one principal, they have a full-time curriculum coordinator.
Yeah, I'd like to watch everything they have.
So that's a different role that they pick up and I pick up some, you know what I mean? So it's just, you have to compare across.
What does that do? What's that job?
Do all the curriculum for the students, to any of the new testing, any of the new modules, any of the new books you're going to order, new, I mean, you're doing the day-to-day follow the teacher's teaching.
I think that's part of the question we were asking. If there's any type of those things, it's going to say, you know, I know that's what we say, job on me, but you may not have a job in 5 years. I mean, that's all districts.
Right,
are the same
I
way.
don't disagree.
We're spending our 2 minutes at home.
I mean, that's the second.
Did we give, actually, did you give a chance to cover the budget and the, that kind of where we are?
Actually, I got one question and then something like that. Last year, we got 3 PE teachers on students that are better than us. We really need 3 PE teachers. Now that we.
We
You
didn't
want to
make
take it
that cut
in, we
last
didn't
year.
make it cut.
We
We
had
never,
considered it.
the board didn't authorize that cut. It was recommended.
We got 3 PE right now.
Yes.
Do we need 3?
Well, one's teaching health.
Amy, do you want to
So
tell what you're doing with
the
that?
person that took the position of the previous teacher, that same person taught PE and health, with the pending possible retirement of our current family consumer science teacher, who's managing the class, that means the PE teacher will pick up that class as well. So that adds one to their list of courses that they're teaching. Could I take? I mean, might be able to cut it one, you know what I mean, one period a day. Might be able to force more students into those PE classes and maybe cut it from a full-time to a, you know, one period less a day, maybe. He's picking up another class.
Which could end up being more than
So it,
one group.
And actually, need to bring schedule of 3, something like that.
Bring what?
Bring the schedule of 3.
you want the current one? I can give you the current one for sure, but the one that's proposed for next year, it's not, like, we're right in the midst of it, but I can certainly list all the classes, you know, the high school classes that they would teach in the elementary.
Thanks.
I think you have a problem there if you look at it. Because then it's okay in elementary, because you got kids at the same level. If you start merging too many in the high school, you got 7th graders and 12th graders.
Right, that has been one issue that was addressed in the PE department, that's really frustrating with the high school scheduling this year because they had 9 through 12th grade students in a class, so you can imagine a 12th grader in a class with a 9th grader, not a very good mix. So it does take more time out of the schedule if you put them based on grade level 7, 8 graders together, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like I said, we could probably force some of it together and maybe shave off a little bit from that person, but it's certainly going to be sacrificing some of the flexibility that the PD department had asked
You
for.
got that better?
Well, it's not even just they've asked for, class-wise, for us to have mutual planning periods in the elementary. Because what we do is each team, and it's really important, and Kelly happens to be sitting there, so second grade, they both have their special at the same time, so they can do joint plan. You know, if we didn't have to do that in the elementary, heck, we make scheduling a lot easier. But what the teachers are going to lose is just immense, to not be able to have a plan together.
Anything else? So, what's going on, this is part of the, so that you get a chance to give you a report as you,
Report in general or just about
we talked about the budget stuff, but before we get out of the topic, doing our budget, I want to make sure that you get that chance to give your presentation.
The only other thing I want to say towards the budget that we've been asked by the teachers and Amy, and we're going to put a copier committee together because we constantly, our copiers are breaking down. We pay for the 2 copiers the teachers use and the district copier $5,300 a month. That's not a choice or wish, it's a contract, we have to do it. We're in it for, anywhere from 1 to 5 years, and that's not including extra copies.
And we're operating, like, our IT person works in another district, we're definitely lower than another district, another copier
Is there
session.
a contract through, after your contract, a company like Rico or?
It's through a copier, we have actually currently, we went to Kyocera in the district office to try the services because we were not as happy with what we currently had. But it's also, we're comparing different machines, that we have very little breakdown in the district office compared to the others, but the others are used a lot more. But we have, both of our companies go through BOCES though.
So you
It's
get
an
it.
aid. But I think people,
Is that 10 or 12 full year contract?
10. But that, like I said, that doesn't include any of the additional extra copies. You pay so much after you go over, I forget what it is, $2,500, something like that, but there's an amount, and then you pay at the end of the year for anything extra.
If the copier breaks down and they can't fix it, they bring another copier in to keep it so the teachers have.
That's what they tell us. I think they've never done it. The 5 years I've done this, I got into a big argument the last time and said, this is, what we had here was not worth it. So they allowed us to trade up, which you don't usually get to do within your contract. But then again, we had to redo it for 5 years. So that's how they get you to keep it
Yeah, that's
with their
a
company.
ploy that a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But again, we had to have a heavier duty commercial copier.
What's
Because it
the
just wasn't.
cost, just the time?
But then you have no maintenance, you have no,
Maintenance is really a big issue.
that's what you're paying for is
Where'd they go?
They can sort of call it that.
the service
She
contract.
says you can't buy
This
them.
contract
You
just,
can't buy them, where
the
does it
school,
go?
our school makes contractors, it's the most.
I don't think so, any person by
We go through BOCES to get the aid, but we choose our company.
BOCES have all these schools are through BOCES.
It's a state contract price.
Same contract.
The hospitals sit with it. We go through
Just
Rico.
saying.
That's what they ask for.
And we pay a flat rate, and we have hundreds of copies for the hospital, we don't want a single one of them. But it's agonizingly expensive.
So this is currently legal, isn't it? So we get 80% back. Oh, here we go with the 8 again.
But that's 3 copies, we actually have 6 in the building. But again, they're different size, different level.
Pretty much 2 teachers use solely.